Cushites, we are the Cushites, the black people with black skin. And Cush begot a son called Nimrod, who migrated towards Africa, where we are here. Because of the DNA that was in him, he began to be a mighty one on the earth. And verse 9, it says, he was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Therefore it is said, like Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. Hallelujah. Now, I want you to understand something. Look at me very well. And get me here. Let me balance. Why am I teaching this? We want to diagnose the weaknesses in our DNA. I want you to understand that Nimrod was a great person. And the Bible is saying he was a mighty hunter before the Lord. His hunting escapades, they began before the Lord. Hello? They were blessed by the Lord. They were not from the devil. He was doing it before God. We have got our strengths as Africans. Because this series, I'm talking to Africa. Hallelujah. Just as Asians whom went in their direction, and some who went in the direction of Europe, they have also their weaknesses in their DNA. There are certain things that they have to deal with. There are certain things that you find in those European nations, in those people in Asia, weaknesses that we don't have here. And weaknesses which we don't even pray to have. Serious ones, which they also need to deal with. But we don't want to concentrate more on our strength. We want to concentrate more on our weaknesses as Africans. And when we know our DNA, how we came here to Africa, and we know the weaknesses found in us, and when we deal with those weaknesses and we turn them to be strength, and I tell you, we can take the world. Hallelujah. Because even companies, they do SWOT analysis, where before you begin to do business, you must do SWOT analysis, where you must study the strength. S stands for the strength, W for weaknesses, and O for opportunities, and T for threats. So that you may know how to conquer that market very well. You have to study the strength of that market, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats. So we are doing a SWOT analysis of an African man. We want to know the weaknesses that are in the DNA of an African man. We have got things that we are admired for. Hallelujah. So Nimrod came this side. Why? Because his gift pushed him to go where there are a lot of animals. He had to come here because his gift of hunting, you can't hunt or exercise your gift of hunting when there is no animal. There must be animal, hallelujah, for you to be a hunter. So that's why in Africa, I thought it was, when I was growing up, I thought it was only Zimbabwe where people are identified by animals that were hunted. Our totems have to do with animals. Manube, Madube, Sokomukanya, Murewa. Why? And if you trace the history, it has to do with our fathers, our ancestors, the way they would hunt certain animals. It's how families, whether you go to Botswana, anywhere go, even kings On, in Africa, they are identified by animal skins. Our kings here, they wear animal skins. And you know you are meeting a king, whether from Zululand or anywhere, they will be wearing maybe leopard skin. Because that was our DNA. We were connected to animals. When you go even to Europe there, you discover that maybe with my wife, we went to a certain overseas nation that is beyond the Pacific Ocean. And the elephants, which they have that side, they were taken from Africa. And they flew them in planes. But you can see even the skin. The skin is no longer the same. Because they are not designed to be there. They are in zoos. They put them in those zoos and lock them. You know, and they call that safari. We were laughing with my wife that this is not safari. Let them come to Wange Wild Safari. Here, that's where there is a real safari here. And that's why they come as tourists here. And when you take them even to see animals, they feel, because now there is certain adrenaline that comes. There is a certain feeling when you are driving and an elephant is just passing in front of you. There, the elephants, they are these ones which have got some guys with some hooks. You know, they call them domesticated elephants. They are not like ours here, wild ones. Those ones, when the ones in Asia I saw, when they see a car, they avoid it. They know a car. They can even go in another direction. But here, our elephants, if you just make a mistake, it will sit on your car. It doesn't know what is a car. Because it's a wild elephant. It's only Nimrod who can deal with that. Hallelujah. So you find out there is one man, a policeman, whom I saw with a car. And his car, it had scratches and no more color on it. All the paint was removed. And it had some scratches on it, and he was taking it for repairs. And I said, what happened to your car? And he said, it's an elephant, prophet. I said, can you explain the story? He said, no, there were elephants that were crossing. So he did not see those elephants that were crossing. But there was a big elephant that was crossing, a big one. He didn't see it. He was overspeeding. And he went through inside between the legs of that elephant, and his car went inside through the body of that elephant. And when he was about to, in fact, when he was, the car, when it was coming out, they said it was a baby elephant. Imagine how big was that baby elephant. It was a big elephant, and they said it just set a little bit with the corner on his car. And the car was dented very badly. And when he went inside, that elephant, the color, the paint of the car was left on the elephant's body. It just made a small sound, and it went. And him, that's how he escaped. He didn't know even what went in between it. It just checked its small calf, whether it was next to it, and they went and they were crossing. And when you'd look at the car, and I said, was the elephant hurt? He said, no, it was only paint that was left on the elephant's body. His car was the one that was hurt. So there is a feeling that is different from that side. Even their animals are domesticated. Our wild animals, when you go there, you feel sorry for them. But when they come here, they want a real safari, they go and see. So it is what made Nimrod to come here. Hunting started from this side. And some of you, you grew up hunting in the rural areas. That was your way of surviving. In Africa, hunting was life. But in Europe, it's a game. But it's different from here because it was giving us life here. Because I want you to understand what I am saying here. So we have this DNA in us. And we want us to be delivered from the weaknesses in that DNA. Hallelujah.